Bermuda, a dazzling island lying in solitary splendor in the blue-green Atlantic. And the Mid-Ocean Golf Club, an exceptional test of golf built over banked and rolling terrain. An 18-hole match at medal play between six-time British Ryder Cupper, winner of the Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese Opens, Peter Alliss of Dorset, England, and the brilliant American professional whose many titles included the Thunderbird Classic, the Cleveland Open, and the honored British Open, the late Tony Lima. To analyze the play, the legendary Gene Sarazen, winner of every major title in professional golf, and to describe the action, a fellow member of the PGA Hall of Fame, three-time winner of the Masters, Jimmy DeMeritt. This is Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, a series of international golf matches played on the world's most famous courses. This week, the Mid-Ocean Golf Club, Bermuda. We must warn you, a few days after you arrive in Bermuda, you'll be like this. So worn out from all the decisions you've had to make, you just won't be able to move. What decisions? Well, first, there's swimming. Of course you're going to swim. That's one of the reasons you've come to Bermuda. But where? Bermuda's pools are big and beautiful, right at the hotels. And the deck chairs are so comfortable for sunbathing. But the ocean is bigger and beautiful, and just a beach away from your hotel. And nothing is more comfortable than soft pink sand. And if you choose the beach, which one? Will it be one of the more popular playgrounds where it's so easy to meet someone you know or would like to know? Or a quiet, secluded stretch of sea and sand that seems to belong to you alone? Don't count on nightfall to make things easier. What's your mood tonight? Smart and sophisticated? Or primitive? Bermuda has the entertainment to enhance your mood. All you must do is choose. And if tomorrow you're so tired from whatever you've chosen tonight that you just want to be a spectator, there's the water show. Or the county cricket match. Which will it be? Decisions. No wonder you're too worn out to move. But what a delightful way to recuperate.
In a few moments, you'll be seeing Tony Lima in our match today. As you all know, Tony and his wife died in a tragic accident last summer, shortly after we filmed this match. Tony was a great golfer, a good friend, and a wonderful human being. We bring you this match today because, knowing Tony as we did, we think this is exactly what he would have wanted us to do.
I've traveled the world over, yet there's nothing to compare with beautiful Bermuda. It's been a few years since my last visit to Mid-Ocean Club, but there's still the surprisingly hilly terrain, which means a number of blind shots from the tees, and steeply banked fairways that call for careful placement of shots to take advantage of the roll. There are many bunkers, big and small, 18 on the first hole alone, and in some cases, only a narrow strip of sand lies between you and the ever-present blue-green ocean. Where there is an ocean, there is inland water like the lake on this fifth hole. I consider this to be one of the toughest holes in golf. The breezes off the Atlantic are a constant companion. They get pretty strong at times, so keep the ball low under the wind. The greens were built to the contours of the land. Don't be surprised if you see a single putt go uphill, downhill, and break sideways as well. Bermuda has a special flavor and a feeling about it, and this mid-ocean club plays a prominent part in the island's romantic tradition.
The match is being played for $10,000 today. To the winner goes $7,000, and to the loser $3,000. And in case of a tie, $5,000 to each player. In addition, Shell will give $10,000 for a hole-in-one. Now let's join Gene and the golfers. Tony, only a few years ago, you were struggling trying to get into the money, and all of a sudden you won your couple of big tournaments, and away you went. How do you account for that?
Oh, Jimmy, you know, a little bit of success breeds more success, and I guess after I won my first tournament, it kind of took the pressure off and gave me the added confidence that I needed to go on and win a few more.
And that included the coveted British Open, didn't it?
That's right. That's probably one of the biggest thrills I've ever had in the game of golf.
Well, that's wonderful, and good luck to you. And Gene?
Peter, I noticed you've been practicing for the last few days. Have you gotten used to this Bermuda grass?
Well, I think it takes a bit of getting used to, Gene, but we'll do our best, and we try and give Tony a good game.
I'm sure you will.
Gene, if you have a coin, why don't you toss it and see which player has the honor?
You're asking for money again, huh? Hard to get it out of this guy's pocket, I'll tell you that. Call it, Tony. Heads. It's your honor, Peter. Thank you. And good luck to both of you.
Good luck, man. The first hole of the Mid-Ocean Golf Club in Bermuda is a 405-yard par 4 swinging dogleg left, with the best line down the middle of those three bunkers about 180 yards out. There's a flock of bunkers short of the green on either side, and more sand to the left side of this huge putting surface. The match is being played under the rules of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews, Scotland. Of course, that gives the players the option of whether he should play the large or the small ball. And I think Peter is going to play the small ball and Tony Lima the large. Gene, I noticed that Peter is going to use a 2-iron here. There's a little trouble hanging around, don't you think?
Well, Jim, I think these boys have a lot of respect for this course. You know, this is a great course, and they can't fool around here.
It's perfectly placed. It's right over the center bunker. Gene, that's an ideal shot.
Beautiful. Well placed.
This course plays to about 6,400 yards to a par 71. Now, Tony Lima steps to the teeing area and is going to use a 4 wood.
Of course, you know, Jim, you can play this a little too safe. That leaves an awful long second shot.
Tony moves it out to the right. It should land okay, though. It's going to land into the fairway and kicks down to the left. And both players are off to a very fine start here on number 1 at Mid-Ocean. Tony Lima's tee shot out about 220 yards with a 4 wood, and about 225 is Peter Allison. Gene, Tony's going to use a 6-iron for his second shot here, and this pin placement makes it a little dangerous, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, he can't go through this green here. It'll wind up down near the ocean here in the trap.
He starts it way out to the right, Gene, but it's hooking back toward the center of the green. It's going to land on the center, and it doesn't take the bite very well and runs up toward the back side of the green and trickles back toward the flag. It was a very good shot, and Peter Alice, out about 10 yards farther, playing the small ball, is using a 7-iron for his second shot. Gene, I believe the difference is the small ball in the distance, don't you?
Yes, I would say 1 club difference, Jim.
Peter starts it way out to the right. It's going to land on the extreme right side of the green and trickles down toward the left, since this green does drift off from right to left. And both players have very long putts here on number 1 for their birdies. Peter Alice, with about a 40-footer for a birdie, is slightly away. His putt is breaking down toward the ocean, and it's quite a roll there, isn't it, Gene, on this first one?
Yeah, it's not a tricky putt, though. It's a matter of judging the distance, the speed of the green.
This is definitely a lag putt. I don't think that Pete's going to charge us too much. He uses a mallard head putter. Ooh, that's a little firm. Will it hold? It's going to run past the hole, Gene. He belted that pretty good, but it stopped, I guess, about 3 feet away. Just
Yeah, he's got quite a little tricky thing coming back.
Tony's using an old blade putter he's had in his bag for some time now. Those are fancy shoes he has on there, the yellow and green. Looks like Tommy Bolt at a formal dance. Tony's going to be right straight at the cup. It's breaking down a little bit and pulled up a little short. Very fine approach putt.
Oh, wonderful putt. Jim, that's the way I like to see approach putts, to get within a foot of the hole where you don't have to strain yourself.
And Tony tapped it in and got his par. And we have Mr. Jim Pierman with us here, who's acting as referee today. Jim, have you ever seen a more ideal day for golf?
No, you don't see many like this in Bermuda, but this is absolutely perfect.
Well, we're certainly delighted to have you as our referee today, and I hope you don't have to make any decisions that might be unpopular to the players.
I certainly hope not, too.
Incidentally, Mr. Pierman is a member of the Bermuda Colonial Parliament. Peter Alice faced with about a 3-footer to hold his par here. He jams it right in the center and gets his par. And through the first hole, both players get their par 4s, and this match is all even on Shell's wonderful world of golf. On the 470-yard par 5 second hole, our slow-motion camera allows us to compare the swings of Tony and Pete. Peter Alice addresses the ball in the conventional manner on a line inside his left heel. He moves away from the ball to the top of the swing with a clockwise turning of the hips. Tony addresses the ball a little more forward than Peter does. He slides his body sideways away from the ball before turning his right hip for a full pivot. In starting down, Peter now rotates his hips counterclockwise. He clears his left side as he makes contact with the ball. With the ball more forward at address, Tony also has to slide his hips laterally forward along his intended line of flight. He bends both knees as he gets into the shot, and his left side is bent like a bow. He and Peter smoked big drives here, played iron shot approaches to the green, and were putting for eagle 3s. Peter Alice is just over the green in the short frog hair, about 60 feet from the cup. He's faced with another long approach putter in each hand.
Yeah, but this is one of those mid-ocean specials with about 3 or 4 rolls before he gets to the hole. Boy, it's a hard putt to lay dead.
Oh, another fireman, but it's holding up. Looks very good.
Oh, there's a great putt.
Tremendous putt. And the ball did roll over just the part of the right lip of that cup and stopped, I would say, about 18 inches away.
Boy, I want to tell you, he's got his eye on that hole if he can judge that kind of putt.
Certainly has. And Tony Lima with a 15-foot putt for an eagle 3. It's going to move off to the left. His caddy and he got together on that, and the caddy said it would break a little bit, but you can't always hit him where you'd like to, Gene.
No.
He straddles Alice's line of putt and taps it in for a birdie 4. Gene, from all indications, this match should come right down to the wire. Both these boys are playing fine here.
It'll all get down to one thing, 3-foot putts.
You're right. Here's about an 18-incher for a birdie 4. Pete's going to the cross-handed putting stroke, which is very popular among the American professionals. Ooh, he used all that left side. Both players on the second hole get their birdie 4. The match is still all even on Shell's wonderful world of golf.
This is a story about some of the ways that Shell serves the thousands of people who vacation each year in Bermuda. It involves this charming young couple and 2 of the vehicles known here on the island as motor-assisted bikes. Now, since the speed limit in Bermuda is only 20 miles an hour, and bikes, even motor-assisted ones, do not usually travel that fast, it is going to take quite a while to get to the point of our story. So, in the meantime, we thought you might enjoy seeing Bermuda the way most visitors do, from the seat of a bicycle, motor-assisted. in just a moment, we'll get to the point of our story, so stand by. Here it is. These bicycles, being motor-assisted, do occasionally run out of fuel. But fortunately for our furiously pedaling hero, funny how the bikes seem to have changed riders. Help is just around the corner. For each Shell service station in Bermuda, in addition to supplying all the products needed by more conventional vehicles, also has something to keep motorbikes going, worry and pedal-free. It's a mixture of gasoline and oil called Shell 2T, made especially for two-stroke motors, the kind they put on bicycles. And you'll find it in Bermuda, wherever you see this familiar emblem. But just as motorbikes run out of fuel, so do vacations run out of days. It's time to board the plane and say goodbye to Bermuda. But not goodbye to Shell. For Shell is also the world's largest supplier of commercial aviation fuels and products. For motorbikes or jet planes, Shell supplies products of excellence. And the world over, this is the symbol of that excellence, of Shell's constant search for new products, new ideas, new ways to serve you better.
On the 161-yard par 3 third at Bermuda's Mid-Ocean Club, the boys took a swing at the $10,000 hole-in-one money. Peter Alice used an 8-iron. He hit a high, firm shot, but drew it left of the pin and finished about 24 feet away. Tony Lima also used an 8-iron. He got his ball flying right at the stick, which was set behind the bunker, but came up a little short and about 26 feet from the hole. We took a good look at that putt, Gene. Looks like a couple of breaks there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has a double break, but there's a possible chance of holding that. It's uphill all the way. All he has to do is hit it.
Hit it on line, the right speed, judge the roots in the grass, the air. There's nothing to it.
He's got a good line, Gene. It could go. Ooh, look at that thing swing back off to the right. And Tony had good speed there, ran it past the hole about 18 inches. Peter Alice, 24 feet away, putting uphill, and his putt might drift a little to the right, not much. I believe it's a little short, Gene. He would have missed it, though, I believe.
Yeah, if he'd have hit that a little harder, it stayed right up on the left side of the hole.
Pete's going to mark his ball because if he didn't, he would have to stand in. Tony's line of putt, and Tony was willing to concede those.
Jim, Tony's putt is not as easy as it looks.
I believe he'll have to hit this very firm, Gene, to hold that line.
Oh, he jammed it right in there. See, that was a good putt, and Tony made a very nice, bold first putt there. Peter Alice putting for a par 3. He got it. Tony, I noticed that you started out with the large ball on number 1, and then on number 2 you went to the small ball, the 5 par, and then back to the large ball here. Is that the strategy that you're going to use today?
Jim, I've always tried to do that when I have the option and there's no wind blowing like right now. I use it on the longer holes and the narrower holes where I can keep it straight and yet hit it hard.
Gene, did you ever do that?
No. I don't know.
You see that big balls in his head.
That was a gut approach, wasn't it?
Right.
Jim, I want to tell you one thing. That shot he hit to that hole there that didn't roll 2 feet, and if it was a small ball, it might have gone pretty near up to that $10,000.
Remember that, Tony. 10,000 for a hole-in-one.
Well, please remind me from now on, will you, Jim?
I'll do that, Tony, and thanks very much. And through the third hole, both players are 1 under par. The match is all even on Shell's wonderful world of golf. At the 355-yard par 4-4, both players got their pars. Number 5 is a par 4 of 433 yards. Peter Alice has the honor. He's going to use a 2-iron here. This hole is a short dogleg to the left. lake here starts from the tee and winds all the way around to the green. He's slicing it off to the right. It's going to land in the extreme right side of the fairway. Will it hold it? He's in good shape, about 210 yards out. Tony's going to take a forward shot here, and there's a little trouble off to the right, but a lot of room down there. It's wide open. Gene, Tony's cut that dog leg much sharper than Peter did. He's shortening up this hole and has just carried the lake. He's in the left side of the fairway, about 110 yards from the green. Peter Alice has got a 6-iron second, but Gene, he definitely has the advantage coming into this cup on the left side of this green, doesn't he?
Yes, it doesn't pay to cut across there because you have a hard shot to the flag. Now, see, he can play to the right of the green and bounce into the hole.
And he's playing it way out to the right, and this green certainly breaks off, and it's going to land on the right side and tips off to the left and trickling down into the right center of this green. Tony Lima bit off an awful lot of this dog leg, Gene, although I believe he could have used a driver and been better off.
Oh, yes, if he'd have used his driver, he'd have had an open shot to the flag. Now he has to carry this second shot all the way to the flag, and boy, it's a very dangerous shot.
Tony played a wedge safely to the open right side of the green. It kicked left toward the pin about 40 feet short. He three-putted from here. Peter got down in 2 for a par 4 and went 1 stroke up after 5 holes of play. On the 310-yard par 4 6th hole at Bermuda's Mid-Ocean Club, both players hit the green in 2. Tony Lima's second shot with a wedge just short of the hole in line about 18 feet. And Peter Alice about an inch or so off the green in the fringe, about 55 feet away.
He has a putt here, Jim, now that could fool him. This is a slow putt. He has to hit it hard. Although he's had practice on this green, he should know.
He jumped as he hit it, but it looks awfully good, Gene. He's going to run a little short, and you're right. You judge that pretty good.
The way he hit that ball, I thought it would go across the green.
I noticed the thing there, Gene, was unusual. He used the standard overlapping grip there with the right hand down below the left on the long approach putts, and then he gets over these short ones and changes to the reverse.
It's very confusing, I would think.
I don't know about him. It's confusing me. Tony Lima, about 18 feet away. Let's firm up toward the hole and right in. Oh, what a beautiful putt. And Tony Lima jammed it right in the heart of the cup, Gene.
Bold putting paid off that time, didn't it?
It just goes to show you, Gene, how mental play golf can change. Here's a boy leading by a stroke, Peter Alice was referring to. And all of a sudden here he's faced with about a 5-footer to keep from going 1 stroke back.
Funny game.
Surely is. Back to the reverse grip. Oh, gosh.
Too bad, Peter.
Too bad, Pete. Just goes to show you how this game can change. Lima picks up a birdie. He goes 1 stroke up at this time. He is 1 under par. Peter Alice is even on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. The short 7th is a 3-par of 131 yards, and the tee is well up above the green. There are a couple of small lakes in front of the green, and the traps surround this short hole. Tony Lima has the honor. He picked up 2 strokes on the last hole. It's well up above the flag. It's going to carry over. Ooh, Gene, he's got himself an impossible shot almost to get down in 2. His ball landed on the fringe, on the down slope. It carried in the back of the trap and trickled down. He has a downhill lie going back to the hole, and he only used a wedge shot. That was Tony Lima. And remember, again, that Shell gives $10,000 for a hole-in-one. And, Gene, in your days back in the early 20s and 30s, were they giving $10,000 for hole-in-one?
They wouldn't give $10,000 for the whole tournament.
The leading money winner, I think, won about $4,000 or $5,000, didn't he?
That's right.
I think you told me one time that you won the American and the British Open Championship and received under $1,000.
$1,500 combined prize money. It cost me more than that to play in them.
Alice also used a wedge to the short but tricky little hole. Pete knocked a fine shot at the green and finished left of the hole about 25 feet. Lehman's shot hit the embankment over the green and skidded back into the trap and rolled back down on a downhill slope. Tough shot, Gene.
Oh, I'm glad he's playing it, not me.
Boy, this is really a rough one. He'll have to lift that wedge up, straight up and cut across it, just to try to get in the frog hair there to keep it from rolling way down the hill.
Oh, that's what usually happens, and I know Tony that didn't want to do this. Is one of the things that he did not want to do. Tried to get it on the green, but it was almost an impossible shot. He's in a better position now.
Jim, there's nothing harder than a downhill lie out of a bunker.
To a fast downhill green.
That's a good shot. Beautiful shot. Oh, beautiful. Great shot there. There's the difference, Gene, on that downhill, as we mentioned, and pitching to a downhill green with a cup on his side, the near side to the trap in which he was in, makes it almost impossible to get that ball close.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Peter Alice, putting for birdie 2, is down 1 stroke. Long putt. It's firm enough. It's breaking down toward the cup. It's got a chance and pulled up just a little, Gene. He had a great line there.
Beautiful line. If he had just hit it, he'd have had it.
He's going to tap it in.
Tony has about a 3-foot putt.
Almost straight.
He's a firm putter. I don't believe it'll take any roll there.
He jams it in the center, and there is a fine 4 by Tony Lima. Great recovery there. And Pete, would you... Incidentally, this is a crazy game, this medal play. Here you were out in front by a shot, and then you 3-putt from the fringe and get a bogey where Tony birdies, and you go down a shot, and it looks like you might pick up 2 shots right
Yes,
here.
it did, but he had a very difficult trap shot there on the reverse side of the bunker with a sharply sloping green. It was almost impossible to get it near, I thought. I thought the best he could do was probably get it 20 feet below the hole.
Didn't get on the green the first time, but he played a fine explosion shot for his third, hold his putt, and at this time the match is all even on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. Both players matched the card on the 325-yard par 4 8th hole at the Mid-Ocean Club in Bermuda and stayed all even at even par. On the 412-yard par 4 9th hole, Peter Alice drove into the right center of the fairway some 285 yards. Tony was in the left center of the fairway, 280 yards, and was away. Lima's using a 9-iron for a second, Gene, and the cup is well back, and this is a blind shot. The player can just see the top of the flag. Hits the ball, then the turf. It's right straight at the flag. Will it be far enough? It's going to land on the front side of the green. Takes a big hop, and then took a spin. The ball took one big bounce and then spun back, and it didn't do the thing on the last green. Here's Peter Alice for a wedge.
The only chance he's got to get close to the hole is to carry it practically all the way.
And he's doing that, Gene. He's throwing it right straight at the flag. This could be awfully close. But look at that, Gene. That ball had no bite at all. He landed just perfect, but here it comes back down the hill. Both players are on putting for 3s on the 9th hole. They're both on the green here at the 9th hole, and Lima is about 21 feet away, and Alice about 16. Lima's putting uphill. Very large crowd gathered here, and incidentally, a very colorful crowd. A lot of people in the traditional Bermuda shorts. Lima's up toward the hole. It's off to the right and swings past about 18 inches. Here's Peter Alice downhill.
Here's a putt that he's got to be careful with because this is fast.
He baited it down there. It's going to break off. Gene, he didn't have the speed.
He just pushed the putt.
He certainly did, and he's within a foot, and I believe he's going to mark it because taking his natural stance, he would have to step in Tony's line. And this is a courtesy that all the players extend one another. They certainly don't try to step in your line of putt. Tony's putting out. Jammed it in, got his par.
He sure jams him in, don't he?
Oh, boy, he's firm. His first 9 plays about 3,002 yards to a 35 par. And Peter got his putt, and they both parred, and Incidentally, Gene, how would you analyze that first nine of play here by Alice and Lima?
Well, Jim, they drove the ball very well. Their second shots weren't close to the hole, but I can understand that because playing through these fairways, they're playing through this part Bermuda and part St. Augustine grass, and that St. Augustine grass has wide leaves and gets between the face of the club and the ball, and they can't stop the ball. And you notice that very few shots stopped close to the hole, only one or two.
And that's true in these undulating greens here. You know, a lot of times I've noticed that the boys hit on the downslope expecting to hit in the flat area, and they bounce back, and then they'd hit on the upslope and put the spin on it, and it's really difficult to get close here.
But they shot par. That's pretty good golf.
Let's call them in and see what's going on.
Come on, Tony. Well, what are you, even?
Yes, Gene, luckily. We've had kind of a seesaw match so far, haven't we?
Well, you fellas started out there like you were really going to eat mid-ocean up. You were both a couple of birdies there, one under, and you had a couple of easy holes going in, and then the three putts hit, didn't they?
You mean all these have been par 4 holes with you?
Peter, well, how did you like the front?
I thought par 35 was eating the course up. I thought par was 41.
You're kidding.
Jim, this is one course that you can't fool with. You know, you have a lot of respect for it, don't you?
I do indeed. I think it's you can get into trouble on every hole if you're not careful.
Well, we have 9 more holes to go, so how about you two fellas follow me to the 10th tee?
With pleasure.
See you later, Senor Salazar. 10th hole is a straightaway par 4 of 403 yards with a high mound that breaks down and to the right from the elevated tee. Peter Alice continues with the honor here at the beautiful Mid-Ocean Club in Bermuda. He's using a driver. There it goes. Beautiful shot. Perfect. It's drifting off to the right. Slight fade from left to right. Should land in the geometrical center of the fairway, and he rolls down in a perfect spot. Tony Lima. It was a nice shot. I think that practice swing registered at Cal Tech. Slight tremor towards the center of the Atlantic. Oh, nice shot. Beautiful. Gene, that ball is down the left side, and since this does break off sharply, that's a good spot, isn't it?
Perfect spot.
2 players down the middle on the 10th hole. And from these positions, they both made easy par 4s, and the match remained all even after 10 holes. The 11th is a 482-yard par 5 dogleg left. Alice lined a 2-iron into the fairway about 220 yards, and Lima, with a 3-wood, played in the center of the fairway some 235 yards. Peter Alice going to use a 4-wood for his second shot. Gene, do you think he can get home from there?
Well, Jim, he can get home, but he's got a side hill lie, and he's standing above the ball. He can push this to the right very easily.
He starts it at the green, and Gene and I are up on the green side on this hole, and it's coming right straight at the flag. And what a beautiful shot. It's running right straight at the flag, Gene. What a great golf shot. Magnificent shot. Tony's down the center using a 4-wood.
How many times you've had that happen to you? Some fella knock him when it close to the hole.
Well, the thing to do is just knock it inside of it. And Tony starts it to the right. It's hooking off to the left. Oh, it carries just over the galler's head, trickles down the embankment, and Tony Lima is way down the hill to the left. It almost hit the gallery there, Gene, but it just flew over their head, and he almost got an Arnold Palmer break there, didn't he?
Almost.
Tony Lima went to a 4-wood for his second shot here, and he's off to the left of the green, just past the pin, about 30 yards away, using a pitching wedge, and pitching uphill, fortunately, Gene, he'll be able to stop this. We better hurry. It hung up there, Gene. Tony wasn't happy with that when he hit it, and he is short of the green, about 6 feet off the clipped portion of the putting surface. Tony Lima's third shot came up a little short. He landed on the incline of the embankment of the green and stopped off about 6 feet away. He's going to use a 4-iron here, Gene.
Ticklish little shot, especially when your opponent close the hole in 2.
It's a fine chip up toward the hole. Beautiful shot by Lima. That was Tony's fourth shot, incidentally, on this 5-par 11th hole. Tony got his par 5. And here we have Peter Alice with a chance to pick up 2 shots. He is about 6 feet away, putting for an eagle 3. Beautiful second.
Jim, here's a putt that's much lower than what it looks. He has to hit this very firm to hold it.
Oh, boy, Gene, you certainly call that one. He had to hit it firm. He didn't. He left it short.
Yeah.
But he did pick up 1 stroke. And we'll ask Peter over here. Peter? Pete, we were talking about that, and Gene said that you're going uphill and the greens are growing very fast in this hot sun today, and he thought the big thing there was the speed.
Yes, I had to hit it firmly at the right lip, but I was a little undecided on the line. You know, the grass, as Gene said, is growing very quickly, and you've got to hit the ball firmly at the hole, and that's not my sort of style, really. I like to just roll them in.
That was a big putt for you. Had you hold that, you go 2 shots in front, and I know you were trying to hold it.
Oh, yeah.
Pete, that was 2 beautiful shots.
Oh, boy, wasn't that beautiful from that side hill?
And a very fine birdie. And through the 11th hole, Peter Alice, with a fine birdie here, takes the lead by 1 stroke on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. On the 415-yard par 4 12th hole, both players bunkered their approaches. We have with us here, Gene and myself, John Knight, the host professional here at Mid-Ocean. We'll talk with him in just a moment. Tony Lima had the toughest of the 2 sand shots, and our slow-motion camera gives us a close look at how he managed it. Tony had a downhill lie in the bottom of a deep, high-walled bunker that was shaped something like a bathtub. Tony played the ball back toward the right foot to assure hitting behind it, opening the blade wide, took the club back well outside on the backswing, and stayed down through the ball all the way. A good shot under these circumstances, and he ran it past the hole about 30 feet. Tony has this putt for a par 4. He hit it firmly and got the ball rolling, but was slightly offline, and he had to settle for a bogey 5. John, why aren't these boys burning this course up? It plays very short today, but the scores are not too good.
The greens are very tricky, Jimmy. They're very bouncy. Our poania grass is dying, and the rye grass has not yet come through, and it makes putting very bumpy. It's very hard to judge the roll and the speed of the putt.
It's about like the greens in Germantown, New York, where Gene plays. Peter Alice, after his sand trap shot about 8 feet from the cup, with this putt for a par. Oh, he got a piece of the hole, but not enough, and takes a bogey. Peter holds a 1-stroke lead going into the 13th. The 13th hole is the longest of the 3 pars here at Mid-Ocean. The tee is well up above the green. Peter Alice has the honor, leading by 1 stroke. He really hit a super 4-iron into the green, and Gene and I are up on the green, and the ball is, too, right straight at the hole. What a shot this is, and he is only about 9 feet short of $10,000. Tony Lima with quite a shot to follow. With a 4-iron, he starts it out just about right. It may land short. It does, on the upslope, and then rolls back down to the front of the green about 90 feet from the cup. Peter Alice, about 8 feet away, is going to mark his ball, and Tony Lima hit his 4-iron shot slightly on the toe, and he landed up here and rolled back down the hill. Gene, he's got a tough approach putt here. The first 20 feet of this is about a 90-degree climb, isn't it?
Jim, I don't know whether that's a good selection of clubs here for that. What do you think?
Well, we'll know in just a moment. He's off actually the clip portion, and the first 25 feet of this is straight uphill.
Boy, he has to hit it.
And he is going to be way short, Gene. He's way short. You're right. You notice, Gene, that his head was way up looking at this flagstick before he made contact. So it just goes to show you it's just as important to keep your head down until you've made contact and then let your head rotate with your shoulders on a putt as it is on any other shot.
Oh, absolutely. You're right.
All good putters seem to keep that head in a position.
You must never get your head up until your ball stops rolling.
Tony is now in trouble. He's down 1 shot, and incidentally, this match has never been over 1 shot separating the 2 players, but Tony is lying, too, about 3 feet farther away, so he's about 11 feet away putting for par.
He's got uphill putt and it's straight all the way.
Don't you think, though, that Peter Alice can do a little schooling on this one? Oh! Gene, there it is. He used all 4 and, what is it, 4 1/4 inch hole, or
One of
4
these-
3/4?
One of this is going to shake up.
Hey, what a shot there.
Routine two-putt, Jimmy.
Oh.
I was really trying to make the first one.
Yeah, I saw you gave it a chance. You're about 11 feet short.
That's all. I'm about 5 feet wide.
But here's Peter Alice with about an 8-footer for a birdie 2. Oh, again, he's off to the right, and just goes to show you about this game. It looks like Pete might have a chance to pick up 1 shot on you, if not 2.
The last 2 holes, Jimmy, it looked like he could have picked up about 6 strokes on me, really, and as it was, I think I've lost just 1.
You're very, very fortunate.
Somebody told me if you can't be good, be lucky.
On the 368-yard par 4 14th at the Mid-Ocean Club in Bermuda, after Tony approached some 15 feet from the cup, Peter went knocking at the pin again. He flipped a wedge at the stick. The ball landed, then came to a stop some 3 feet from the cup. Here was another great chance for a birdie. But believe it or not, he missed again, letting Tony off the hook once more as they went to the 15th. Peter was even par and 1 stroke up with 4 holes to play. Tony hit the par 5 15th green in 2, while Peter was just short of the putting surface. Alice had a cozy little pitch for his 3rd shot.
Yeah, but you got to get that ball into the air and just lob it to the edge of the green, let it bounce to the hole.
He landed on the green, Gene. I don't think it's going to stop, although it does. That's a beautiful shot. Peter Alice, about 4 feet away after that fine recovery chip up from the right-hand side, short of the green. And Tony Lima putting for an eagle about 50 feet away, Gene.
Let's say that. But I want to tell you, that's the hardest approach putt he's had this round yet. He's got, half a dozen rolls before he gets to the hole. And then he's got to judge the speed of that.
Oh, how about that lag?
That was a great putt.
Oh, Tony is all proud.
Boy, he is
I don't
happy.
know.
I would too, huh?
Oh, yes, yeah. That was a fine putt, and that gave Tony a nice birdie there. Peter Alice, with no luck at all so far on the greens, could hold this putt and retain his 1-stroke lead. Gene, this is absolutely unbelievable. You just can't play golf, Gene, and leave this many openings.
No. Well, he hasn't been up to the hole on the last few.
That's right. He's had
3.
I think this is 1, 2, this is 5 holes in a row that he's missed almost identical length putts.
On the short side.
And through the 15th hole, both players are even par. The match is even on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. On the par 4, 381-yard 16th, both Tony and Peter made par, and the match remained all even with 2 holes to play. The 17th at Mid-Ocean is a big par 3 of 202 yards. This is Lima and Alice's last chance. On Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, Shell gives $10,000 for a hole-in-one. Tony Lima with a 6-iron. He starts it out to the right. It's hooking a little bit now. It's going to land right straight at the flag, and there it goes. That's just the way it goes. Dean, it hooked way off to the left, landed out to the right side of the flag, and then took a big bounce to the left, and he stopped in line with the flag. And here's Pete Alice, who's playing fine golf, and Pete is using a 6-iron. He's aiming out to the right just a little there, allowing for the draw, right to left. And he starts it out to the right. It's coming back a little bit. It's going to land off to the right and spins down the hill, running toward the hole, and His ball is just about twice the distance as Lima. Both players on this 17th hole, the par 3 in 1, putting for birdie 2. Tony Lima in line with the flag about 15 feet away and 26 feet short to the right. Peter Alice. Pete's putt, Gene, I believe, will break left.
Slightly to the left. But these greens have slowed up a lot, John. I mean, Jim.
What'd you say, Sam? That's the first he's been up. Oh, nice putt. Nice putt there. But, I know what he's thinking about when he ran that past. About 4 feet, and this boy has missed 6 in a row from about this distance. And this is the first one he's been up on, Gene, and it would be on a lag putt, wouldn't it? Tony Lima about 15 feet short. His putt will break to the left. It's up toward the hole. It's breaking back to the left. It never fails, Gene. It never fails. Here's a boy that has been on the ropes for the past 6 or 7 holes, and then when he had the opportunity, he shoved it right in there for a smile on him. And he's a happy boy, and we'll talk to him in just a moment. We'll let Pete putt out. He has about a 4-foot putt for his par. He knocked it in, and he got his par, and that's the first putt that Pete's made all day. And Tony, I know that you've had this happen to you. It looks like every hole, the last 5 holes, you were on the defense, and it looks like Pete might wrap you up there any minute, and you finally got the opportunity here from about 15 feet and wrapped it in. That's golf, isn't it?
That's just, you're right, Jimmy. That just goes to show you what a silly game this golf is. By rights, I should be on an airplane on my way home already, and here I am, 1 up going to the last hole.
Well, thank you very much, Tony, and I know you have the 18th hole to play, and good luck to you, and we'll see you over on
the last hole.
No, you're not going to get by with that. One more hole for you, pal.
It is the highway over which passes the commerce Bermuda needs to exist. It is one of the world's most magnificent playgrounds. And it is the best vantage point from which to see Bermuda's island beauty. It is the sea. Today, the sea is assuming a new importance to Bermuda as the source of one of the world's most precious commodities, pure, sweet water. Traditionally, Bermuda's water supply has come from rain. The typical Bermuda roof, lovely though it may be, is designed for the practical purpose of catching every drop of rain and storing it in the tanks beneath each house. And the rainfall has always been sufficient for the needs of Bermuda's 50,000 people. But now that any given day can find half again that number of visitors here on the island, water can be a problem. So, Bermuda has turned to the sea. This is Bermuda's first water distillation plant, capable of turning salt seawater into pure, fresh drinking water. And it is here that oil and water do mix. For supplying the fuel that heats the salt water to the point where it releases its life-giving purity is another task performed by Shell. Keeping pace with the demands of modern technology for new fuels, new lubricants, new chemical compounds to do new jobs is a part of the dedication to excellence that is common to all Shell companies in Bermuda and throughout the free world. Your Shell dealer, too, believes in excellence, in the products he sells, the services he provides. For he is the local representative of Shell companies everywhere. He is your link with Shell's constant search for new products, new ideas, new ways to serve you better.
Gene, this island is certainly beautiful, isn't it?
I think it's the most beautiful island I've ever seen all over the world, Jim. I don't know how people play golf around here because they're always looking at the beautiful spots instead of the golf.
The 18th, the final of this fine match, is a par 4 of 423 yards that bends slightly right towards the green. Tony Lima, leading by 1 stroke, has the honor. Tony pokes it down the center of the fairway and stops in an ideal spot in the saddle of this 18th hole. The very popular Peter Alice from Great Britain moves into the teeing area, and he, too, is using a driver on this final hole. Beautiful shot. Beautiful, magnificent shot. Carries high onto the top of the hill, then it takes us down to the left, and both players are in an ideal spot here, Gene.
Beautiful drives for a last hole, huh?
Tony Lima down the center of the fairway, about 260 yards, going to use an 8-iron. Gene, he's in a perfect spot right in the saddle of this 18th fairway. He's right at the flag. He's going to land short of that green, Gene. I don't think it's going to come up. Oh, look here. Yes, he hung right up on the top of that hill, Gene. He's way short of this hole. Boy, this left an opening for Peter, didn't it?
Yeah, Peter has an opening. Well, Jim, here's a very important shot. There's about $4,000 involved in this shot.
Peter Alice, about 270 yards out, is playing a 9-iron for his second shot. Boy, he's throwing it right at the hole. Gene, this is going to be very close, I believe. He's right at the flag. His ball takes the spin to the left. And there he is with a chance again. Here we are on the 18th hole. This match is just about as tight as you can get it. Peter Alice lying about 12 or 14 feet to the left, cup high, and Tony Lima on the front side about 40 feet away. Tony leading by one shot. Tony so far has had very good luck on these long approach putts. He strokes it up toward the hole. It's got a good speed. It's running toward the left and past the hole. And, Gene, that's not in yet. Although it was a fine putt, he's got a good 3 feet there.
Yeah, here's where psychology plays a very important part in golf. If Peter ever holds this putt, anything can happen.
And you know that he has been inside of Tony 8 out of 9 holes, and I mean really inside this 9, and finds himself one shot back when he was going out even at the turn.
Well, Jim, I was figuring out of 18 holes, he's been inside of Lima 14 times.
Someone sneezed in the gallery, and Peter Alice backs off to rethink.
Sneeze may cost somebody $4,000.
It's off to the right. He comes off of every putt, and still about 2 feet away, but he did get it up, and Peter Alice has played a fine game of golf today.
Oh, wonderful round, but his putting was very mediocre.
Tony Lima, staying right here. This is a $4,000 putt. Gene, actually, to the winner goes $7,000. The loser gets $3,000. And if he misses this, the players will share the $10,000 in prize money, which will be $5,000 each. Tony Lima was a 3-footer to win this match. And remember what we said on the second green, Gene? Gene, from all indications, this match should come right down to the wire. Both these boys are playing fine here.
It'll all get down to one thing, 3-foot putts.
You're right. Oh! Gene, look. Did you see that?
Yeah.
We said something about it. Now, there it is. Can you imagine that? There they are, both players shooting even par 71, and it's a tie match. And
I thought I had to congratulate somebody, but I want to say one thing. You sure played a remarkable game of golf from tee to green, the whole 18 holes. And, boy, I think, Tony, it's not being unfair, but it should be even.
That's the truth. Congratulations to both of you. I think you both played fine golf. And, Tony, it's a tough putt to miss there, coming right down to the last hole. But, you know, your opponent had a few of those bad breaks, too.
That's right, Jim. I guess everything averages out. I'm not too happy about making a 5 and especially missing the short putt, but we had a good match, and Peter missed an awful lot of putts, so I guess I should be happy with the tie.
Well, we're just delighted, and in behalf of Shell, Gene and myself would like to thank both of you boys for appearing on the show. You put on a great match, and one that will always be remembered by Shell and his viewers. It was a great match, and both of you get $5,000, so that's not too bad, is it?
That'll smooth something over. Well,
now, if you two are not too tired, you mind following me, and we'll show the folks a few little tips on how to keep the ball down into the wind?
Why don't you do that?
Come on.
I'll show him how to make a 3-foot putt.
All right, Tony. Good luck to both of you, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Bye-bye. Certainly is a pleasure to have Jim Pierman as our referee today. And, Jim, it was a great match between Lima and Alice here at the Mid-Ocean Club in Bermuda, and you had a rather easy job, didn't you?
I certainly did. Not one single decision to make.
Well, that's great. And did you enjoy the match?
I enjoyed it tremendously. And Bermuda has been very fortunate to see two such distinguished golfers.
And-
We look forward very much to seeing this film when it gets made.
Well, Jim, we want to thank you, and Shell wants to thank you for being with us, and we certainly appreciate the fine work that you've done.
Well, it was very kind of you, and we certainly were glad to have you here.
It'd be nice to be back.
Good. With a lifetime of experience on the seaside links of Great Britain, Peter Alice has obtained great knowledge how to play into the wind. Peter, would you mind showing us how to play a punch shot into a strong wind?
For this type of shot, I choke down a little bit on the grip, thereby narrowing the arc in the backswing. Ball position slightly inside the left heel, weight a little more on the left foot. Don't line up with the bottom of the blade, thereby throwing the blade open. Keep the top of the club face square to the intended line of flight. Keep the hands forward and break the wrist early in the backswing. Don't become too stiff in the backswing because this can tend to throw the right shoulder over at impact. The best way to play a shot into the wind is to keep the ball low so as to avoid its strongest effects. It is also a good idea to take at least one club more than you would require for the normal shot. Let's have a look at this now in slow motion.
Now, watch Peter break his wrist quickly as he swings back, shortening his arc for maximum control. Now he pulls straight down, and at contact, his hands are ahead of the ball as he punches it low and away.
As we mentioned earlier on this program, this match was filmed just prior to the tragic accident that took the life of Tony Lima. It is our hope that the film you have just seen will help you remember him as we knew him, as a fine golfer, a great competitor, and a true gentleman.